Sometimes I get the theme from Super Mario Bros. 3 Flying Fortress stuck in my head. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 Then I get stuck in here for 5 miles. Just to get a good cadence going with it. When I walk, there's video game songs stuck in my head. Sounds like somebody wants to give me a little love. It is June in Dallas, Texas, and it's 70 degrees outside right now. Like I said, it gets hot in here. It gets supposed to get hot around here at the end of April. And thankfully, man, this has been one of the mildest summers. Of course, one of the mildest summers so far. A lot of rain too. Been pleasant. Just waiting for it to get nasty. I expect it to get nasty. No, that first house, they were gutting it when they probably should have just tore it down to the foundation. So that's the difference when whoever got that bid for that house. That one group down the street probably got their cousin or somebody to gut that thing out, and they're gonna start over. All I know is they better be pulling permits. Got a lot of folks around here remodeling houses, doing some underhanded stuff. Been bit by one of those dogs. All those little lap dogs, man. I've been needing new shoes for 6 months now, and I've just been walking on these to the I suppose I'll keep walking on these till the toe comes through. Or running on them too. Everybody's got an emergency coming up, and so I haven't had the time or the money to sit there and buy me a new pair of shoes. I wonder what color they're going to paint the brick. I like red brick, but apparently no one else does anymore. There we go, starting to get my legs out under me. Starting to loosen up a little bit. It ain't like it used to be. I used to come out here and sometimes I'd be really fired up. Now I gotta work my way into it. 1 mile, 2 miles. But basically, if I was a machine, I am a machine. My chemical capacitors aren't as good as they used to be. Takes me a long time to build up a charge now. And that's what youth is. You got those brand new capacitors and you just warm up real quick and current just surges through you. When you get older, there's a lot of resistance. Or is it impedance in capacitors? Whatever it is that causes the electricity not to be able to build up. To this day, I still don't understand capacitors. Two giant metal plates with a gap. And I'm not understanding if the charge jumps across the gap, or is that how it works? I don't even think they make air gapped capacitors anymore. I think they're all, I mean, that's what a spark plug is. It's an air gapped capacitor. Most of the stuff you see now, it's all solid. And then there's liquid capacitors. Those damn things leak after a while. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Here we go. Muscle said, I guess you're not gonna stop this, are you? I was like, nope. It's alright, boys, warm up. It's like one of those old light bulbs with a heavy tungsten filament. Somebody's got a good rhythm going. I think that's the guy traded for our OTC. He runs in cadence. Howdy. Yeah, things have changed. I think that's what's happened, is that these neighborhoods are getting younger. I used to have a lot of sour old people that were kind of looking at me. Some were nice, as long as I knew my place. Those folks have either died out or moved out. So I get to a point where 10 years goes by and I don't even know that it had been 10 years. TV's going out, but it's not 10 years old. It's like 6 or 7 years old, and it's pissing me off. I was like, my old CRT monitor that I bought, that was TV that I bought, that was a Sharp. It was a 27-inch. I paid $400 for it with my first paycheck, and I had to get rid of it. It wasn't I wanted to get rid of it. It was everything went digital, and it wasn't going to pick up anymore. There was no more cable, and I couldn't hook my computer up to it. And so it sat and collected dust, and then eventually I put it on a pallet and gave it away. That thing someone's probably still using it to this day. Sharp TV, 42 inches. It's supposed to be a smart TV. It's got all the stupid bullshit that I didn't need. I turn it on, it takes 30 seconds to start up now, because the power supply is going out in it. And I'm like, how much would it cost to fix that? The part itself's like $20-50, but I can't find anybody who has the part. And then I have someone install it, $200. I can do it myself, but I can't find the part. That's what they want, man.
Good evening.
Howdy. They want you buying a TV every 5 years. I'm trying to find a TV that isn't 4K, doesn't have any kind of smart features on it, and that is impossible. So the new TV I got is it has Roku built into it. I have no idea what Roku is. Actually, I do have an idea. I'm never going to use it. My current TV has Netflix on it, and I have never used it. If all you're going to do is use your television for a computer display, being smart is at a disadvantage for it, because then it starts fighting with the computer. No one makes a dumb TV. There is one company called Scepter. I was looking at theirs, but then I was hearing complaints that they don't put any kind of anti-shatter protection into them. They said people were taking the plastic off the bezel and cracking the screen. So I broke down and I brought a, what's the name of it? TCL. I actually heard decent things about it, like it's a good mid-range TV, and that's kind of all you want for the computer. Although now that I think about it, I guess I wouldn't. I need one for gaming. But all I mostly do is watch video and surf the internet. I know there are going to be a ton of people there now. Crow me something. Cool summer double cross. That's what they're doing. They're tearing out the gas line, putting in a new one. I just think about what TJ is. All these portable buildings, they could have they could have just built a wing. Separate but equal. Okay, so that's weird. I didn't think it was gonna rain. Oh, there's one guy. Okay. I gotta stop you from coming in. Well, like I said, did these guys climb the gate or did they just lock it up? Or that was a smart move, actually, because like I said, dudes come in there and take the air conditioners and stuff. But how do you get in there? There's two ways that I know of. That would explain why there's nobody around here. Bottom line is there's a fight going on here that I have no idea what the sides are, but I'm caught up in the middle of it. Howdy. Hold their manhoods cheap. Sorry, I just, some reason I started thinking about the speech from Henry V. For some reason I tune in and they're Henry V would be on the TV. There's Ken and Branagh giving the speech about this big battle that's supposed to happen before St. Crispin's Day. Or was it on St. Crispin's Day? Bottom line is they were getting ready to fight on a holiday. He's trying to get them all riled up. I just remember a few lines. We few, we happy few. And then they talked about, he said that other people, you know, well, on this day, we'll be sitting here boasting, and these other guys will hold their manhood cheap. That they were not a part of this. That was the weird thing about Henry V. He was all fired up at the beginning. And it was a brutal battle. He wins, but he's tired and he's beat up and bloody. He's walking through the battlefield, picks up the kid, and they all start singing. That's how it ends. They all start singing on the battlefield. And then you start thinking about Full Metal Jacket. Is that what Stanley Kubrick was talking about? The guys are singing the Mickey Mouse theme song in the middle of a bombed out, burnt out town in Vietnam. 1,000 years of warfare. To go from singing dirges to singing corporate mascot songs. It's that way. Adapt. It's time for 10 laps of pain. That sounds like a good name for a band. Laps of Pain. True fans of the group call them Lop. And they call their fans Lopheads. Lopheads or loppers. You a fan of Lop, man? Well, you know it. It's like, what's your favorite song out of their albums? I said, what's your favorite song? Burning Thighs. Burning Thighs? Burning Thighs. It's like, I don't know, I like Flame Weezer. Laps of pain. Laps of pain. To get rid of wasted motion. When we start, there is no stumble. There is no hesitation. There is balance and impulse. We're gonna cat like the Sumerians. Left inner knuckle. No, I just kind of like the Germans. I like it, makes it easier to run. Stick out a thumb. That's one. Settle. Balance. Burst. Oh yeah, it's coming. Going to retrieve the ball. That's part of the exercise, baby. Go get it. Remember what the in rugby is. Something engage. Something engage. Starting to kind of copy a page out of the book of football where you stop for a second. There's the line of scrimmage. There's a count. Settle. Stabilize. Burst. Bet you thought you were just gonna come up in here, right? No, buddy. That stop sign was really a suggestion. Settle. Balance. Burst. Hit with a storm burner. Yeah. Yeah, you got 15 minutes tacked on, and so you couldn't make it through the window. Because someone is vindictively locking up. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle, balance, burst. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rained on. Settle, balance, burst. To get off. Settle, balance, burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. We might get a little of that. Challenge! Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. Is that a lot coming this way? Probably. I saw him turning around. Alright, time to go all out. If I got anything left to go all out. Settle. Balance. Burst. Settle. Balance. Burst. El último. Last one, baby. The final. This is lap of pain. I don't know how to say lap in Spanish. So it'd be like the último lap de dolor. Probably a circante or something like that. Settle. Balance. Burst. It would be circa. El último cerca de dolor. The last lap of pain. May there be no marrow left in my bones after this. It all burnt up. It all burnt up. Sizzling. Settle. Balance. Burst. Now I see that dude every year. He runs laps, does push-ups. I thought he was getting ready for the military. Maybe he's already in there. Could be a guardsman. That might be what it is. It's either ROCC or National Guard at this point. Would I join the military? Old me would have. Not to serve my country, just out of curiosity now. The idea of taking orders from an Emirate doesn't sit well with me. All I know is I saw that cop come here, stop, pull into the driveway and turn around. And I thought he was going to come over here and say, hey, y'all got the lead. Maybe he thought better of it when he saw there was more than one person over here. Anyway, I'm done. This is the way they're going to do it. Cool. This might not be the way they'll do it, but it's probably the way I'll just be coming in from now on. Because I know this gate is mostly always open. Like I said, I think I understand why they locked that one, because folks pulling their cars up in there. What makes me mad is I used to come in where they used to be the teachers' parking lot. Basically, that gate open, you just come swinging through here. And for some reason, they closed it. I guess because it was close to campus or something, but that doesn't make any sense because this is close to campus. Bottom line, somebody either messes it up or they think someone messes it up. This was open. What do you think about that? We segregate the sexes their whole lives. Put them together because we need marriage and children. And then act utterly clueless as to why the two groups can't seem to relate to each other. Imagine if I had to do 10 laps of paint around this thing. Find a way. I would, but I would not enjoy it. Wanted to see if it was a straight line from that gate to this gate. Yeah, that's the crown jewel right there. What I understood, somebody broke into this place. They didn't really break in. They just went in, came in with a truck, took the copper coils and the air conditioning unit. Ever since then, they were kind of wary around here. Like, they put this fence around here and they made it complicated and they put locks on stuff. Before, it was just a rudimentary fence that had a like, you could hop over the little thing, and it was your typical public gate that they had back in the 70s and 80s. And they tore all that out and they started making it. I guess you want to look at a sign of how militant America has gotten. That's this fence is it. It went from being a crude fence that people kind of scratch their head as to what purpose it served, to being borderline penitentiary in its design. The only thing missing is the razor wire. I remember I was telling that dude at work, I was telling him about how I used to be able to take stuff through the metal detectors and nobody would give me a hard time. And this is a guy younger than me, about 2-3 years younger than me. And his response was, we didn't have metal detectors in my school. And I was like, I said incredulously, what? He went to school in Arlington, and I was like, well, wait a minute, now Arlington's a hole too. Why don't they have metal detectors? Maybe they couldn't afford them. Yeah, that's what it was. Roll eyes. I think my first couple of years here, there were no metal detectors. And then my last couple of years, it was just, it's what it was. You just get used to it. Reading a book about Jim Crow. In my generation, we said, oh, I could never live like that. I could never live like that. And now I see this new financial Jim Crow kicking in, and I'm just like, you get used to it. The rules just seem so stupid. It was like, you pay for the bus, get out of the bus, go to the back of the bus, and then go sit in the colored section. If a white guy was standing up and there are no more white seats available, you had to give up your seat to them. And if there were black people in that aisle, they had to empty, in that row, they had to empty out of that row. Because we just can't have good white folks mingling with colors. And I was like, wow. I was like, how inefficient. Like, you have to empty an entire, but that's when you don't see the other group of people. There'd be one white guy sitting in the row. And not to blame all the white people, because I mean, I'm pretty sure there was somebody standing up, and they said, oh, let me get up. And they said, no, you can stay there, stay there. And then some white dude up at the front saying, tell them niggers to get up. You ain't got to stand. And it probably got ugly after that. Then I was thinking about Mrs. Brown. She told us in the class one time, she said, you know, it works in reverse too. Because the way it worked was she was going to school in like St. Paul, Minnesota. And her classmates had a tradition when she was in college, where they'd get in the back of the bus and they'd hoop and they'd holler and they'd have a celebration. They'd yell out the windows and stuff, you know, just being young girls. And she said as soon as she went to, I forgot where she went, maybe it was Greenville, Texas or somewhere. Yeah, Greenville, Texas. Boy, that was like the first time I heard anyone mention anything negative about Greenville, Texas. In my whole life I've heard nothing but bad things about the town. But she said they were in Greenville, Texas, and they got in the back of the bus like they usually do, and the bus driver wouldn't move. And they said, why aren't you moving? He said, you guys got to get out. Y'all are in the color section. Y'all got to get out of the colors. And they had never experienced anything like that before. They thought it was the most asinine thing they'd ever heard. So they had to sit up front, and that put a damper on their celebration, because it sunk in where they were and what things were about. How did they let it get that bad? Goes to the Civil War, man. Lincoln doesn't get shot. I don't think he goes through that bullshit. Because what I understand from I had a history teacher tell me, he said that Lincoln's plan was to reintegrate the South with malice toward none. In other words, he was going to bury the hatchet, let them enter the Union, all is forgiven. He gets shot. The dude that hated him, hated the Civil War, hated everything about it, Andrew Douglas, went in there, and he just fucked everything up. He made sure that Reconstruction was going to be a failure. Basically, he made sure just because he didn't care. Them dudes went in there, and there was a bunch of shysters and con men. And it was exactly like when the United States liberated Iraq, quote unquote liberated Iraq. And that is what you see now. Or that's what Iraq's future is going to be probably going to be a whole lot like the United States post Civil War. Two sides that never quite got over the whole thing. You're starting to see it now. Sectarian violence and sectarian segregation. They went in there and they had the policy of de-Baathification. And that was a disaster. And I guess we had, like I said, you can tell though that the people who run this country, they're pretty stupid when it comes to learning from history. Their ancestors tried the same goddamn thing with the Confederacy. Anyway, Lincoln lives. Reintegration probably would have gone a lot smoothly. A lot more smoothly. A lot more blacks probably would have relocated to Africa. And those who stayed, their path to citizenship would probably been a lot smoother. It is what it is, though. 100 years later, I'm still talking about it. It's annoying that it's still a big deal. And I'm not mad at the white people. I'm mad at both sides. I'm mad at some black folks for still fighting a war with no standing army and no real plan. And so at the end of the day, both sides, everybody's getting, you get a bunch of people that are just, like they said, permanent victims and belly achers. You get tired of it. Because you try to do better. And then they label you an Uncle Tom or a sellout or something like that. You're trying to bury the hatchet, and they're saying don't bury the hatchet. Don't do it. Don't have anything to do with them people. Don't be part of that union. They hurt you before. They'll just keep hurting you. And last year I kind of saw that. I was like, you know what? I get it. You keep giving them second chances, and they keep kicking you in the ass. And so now I kind of sit here gingerly, wondering. Not giving them a second chance, but at the same time, I'm not out to destroy this thing. All I can do is watch as it destroys itself. I feel like I'm dealing with a hurt wild animal that all I'm trying to do is show goodwill, and all it can see is me as an enemy, and it keeps thrashing at me. It'll take my charity, but it'll hiss at me and swat at me if I try to give it compassion. That's how I feel about this country. It's a wounded animal that I just want to stay away from. Does it still have its moments? No, not anymore. No. I mean, sometimes I hear about a court case that goes a certain way and people are all cheering in the streets, and I'm like, it's not over yet. There's still appeals. And it's the weirdest thing, just because the law says you have to do this doesn't mean that they're going to do it. We are 60 to 70 years removed from Brown versus the, Topeka Board of Education or whatever. Separate but equal. And yet they find ways around that. Instead of just saying, you know what? Like they said, a rising tide lifts all boats. Is that the Japanese expression? Instead of embracing that, I got mine, Jack. You better. It's like, good luck getting yours. Not even good luck getting yours. It says, I got mine, Jack. Now let me fuck with you so you can't get yours. Like, not only is there neglect, and what's that word I'm looking for? You ignore somebody. But not only is there neglect and isolation, there's an active attempt to disrupt and destroy. Not only will I shun you from my area, but I will poison yours. And that takes a lot of work. And so while you're doing that, your own ground starts to deteriorate. You've only got so much time, energy, and treasure to dedicate to your causes. If you're trying to disrupt and ignore your enemy, it's draining you. But the new separate but equal is we'll move way far away from the inner city. Then add insult to injury, you got to have this much to buy in. You must have $300,000 to buy in. I don't care how you get the $300,000, but get it and get here. And it's weird because at that point, it ceases just to be about race and ethnicity. And now on top of racial and ethnic segregation, you have financial segregation. I guess it's always been like that. I was reading about Barney and Clyde. They lived in Cement City, the poor, neglected area of Dallas. Bonnie and Clyde were poor white trash. Literally, they were discarded, forgotten, poor whites. Living in a trashed out section that was made for workers, and then what was it for? Is it a concrete minting or something like that? The bottom line is it was a labor camp that they turned into neighborhoods. Yeah, it smells good. I smell barbecue and mosquito lamps. You know, the legend has them that they were complete outlaw, they were complete scofflaws, and the other side of the legend says that they were Robin Hood. And the truth of the matter is, the truth minus the legend is they were desperate. Desperate, dumb people. Maybe just a little bit lazy. I was thinking that's the reason why violent crime has gone down, is because you don't have to stick up anybody with a gun and rob a bank anymore. You can trick people into giving you the money with a keystroke. Crime didn't go away, it just evolved. Why put on a suit of armor or get all these guns or try to get a getaway car when all you got to do is get a little card reader on the dark web, go dumpster diving in a place where people don't forget to lock up their papers or they don't shred them. It's like, I went and robbed a bank. How much did you get? Well, minus the marking gel caps, I wound up getting 30 grand. How much you get? Well, using the skimmer and a bot network, I got 3 million. $3 million that nobody went looking for until it was too late. Anyway, I'm trying to see the post-racial world, but every once in a while I still see the racial one. There's still remnants of it there. That look we see once, like that look on people's faces, the clutched purses. The condescending tones. I'm being nice to you because you're black. I'd rather you just be nice to me because I'm a human being, you know. And then my side of it, I feel guarded. And I hate myself for looking at a white face and just thinking the worst. Or a brown face. Or yes, even the black face. Although I did have a case of it yesterday, but I think that dude had a mental tick. There's something wrong. I get these dudes, they come in there now, they're 24-hour fitness, and they talk to themselves worse than I do. And I think they're schizophrenics. I think they're homeless schizophrenics who got let go from, because there's an adult facility over there, rehab facility. And they go out and they go into the 24-hour fitness, and they shower and they spread out their clothes. I'm sitting here putting eye drops in. The dude ran right up on me. Whew. What's that? I said, hey man, it's eye drops. Ooh, let me have that. You see my eye? And I said, yeah, that's pink eye, and I'm not sharing this with you. That's what? I said, that's pink eye. You need to see a doctor. I mean, the dude had no respect for personal space. He didn't know how to ask the right way. And like I said before, I met him up with him. He had all his clothes, his dirty clothes, spread out over the benches, and was talking to himself. Like when someone else sees me, I kind of stop for a second because it's like, hey, he's crazy. It's like, no, I'm saying I'm just voice boxing, or what do you call it? Soundboarding. He wasn't soundboarding. He was having a full-on conversation with an invisible person, and he was looking kind of upset that you couldn't see the person he could see. Then you got this big Nigerian dude. He used to come in there during the summer, slept out in his car. And it's always, and like every 3 or 4 months he changes cars. And I think the cops drove him off. That's the fun thing about hanging out at night. It's a whole nother world, man. Or at least it was back, that was 10, 15 years ago, I'm thinking about it. It's probably not as nice. It was weird, but it was safe, but it's probably not as safe as it used to be. You could hang out in a 7-Eleven late at night. Some of the people that come walking up in there. You may not believe in aliens, but if you go hang out at a convenience store at 3 o'clock in the morning, you might start. You might be partly convinced. Because there's no way that normal humans act like, or that humans are supposed to act like this. I guess like what bugs me is they're human beings that actively cannot stand something when it makes sense or it's in order. Like they look at something and they just have to destroy it. I have a hard time understanding people with an untamed, destructive nature. The only thing I can think is from a Taoist point of view, they serve a purpose in being like the yang part of the destruction of the cycle. Okay. Hey. Why is it the little ones talk the most mess, man? You best keep walking, boy. I just like, it's like, damn, there's a lot of trash talking going on for a little dog. It's like, hey man, I'll put you between two slices of bread and eat you raw. So I'd love to have me a Chihuahua sandwich right about now. But anyway, like they're the other side of the coin. It's like we have to have guys who just love to destroy things. I was kind of like that when I was younger, but that was because I was angry. Are these angry men? They don't seem angry. Maybe that's where we get the term mad. He must be quite mad. Why? Well, because he's destroying things in himself. He must be angry or mad at something. Man, I have nothing left in the tank. I done with the sprints and I said, okay, I'm fine. And then I started jogging and my feet felt like lead. It felt like I'm wearing 50-pound shoes. And I'm sitting here talking to myself. That's another indication that I'm dead tired because I'm just rambling. Like I said, some of it is just trying to purge the unhealthy thoughts. And other parts of it is just me working on comedy routines to kind of deal. All the while I'm trying to think, what's that word that neglect is when you don't care about the kid, but there was another term. I thought it was when you actively try to ignore or isolate somebody. They're shunning. Anyway, losing my perspicacity. I'm not as magniloquent as I once was. That's just, I'm never gonna forget the word magniloquent. Especially, it's just, it rolls off the tongue so nicely. Magniloquent. It was a James Lipton word, man. One of his favorite words that he was saying was beneficent. I never understood why beneficent why they have a word like beneficent when we have benevolent. But maybe they don't mean the same thing. I just like saying the V in benevolent. But beneficent, it fights you. It's a word that you have to pause for a minute. You can't say it fast. Beneficent. Beneficent. I know somewhere out there, if I go on YouTube and I type in James Lipton cussing, I'm going to find it. When James Lipton throws around a 4-letter word, you're not angry, you're impressed. You're like, huh? You know, Jimmy boy, I never saw it that way. I guess I can understand your anger. Whereas everyone else is, what did he say to me? Oh, he must want to throw hands. Come on. Let's dance, motherfucker. James Lipton says it to you and he says, oh, Jimmy, I'm sorry. I didn't know you felt that way. Hey, I must have really screwed up. While I'm making these jokes, I'm wondering, Please don't tell me I'm gonna go do a search for James Lipton. It's like, yeah, R.I.P. I was like, son of a bitch, everybody's dying. Not James Lipton. Yeah, it was his time, man. I know it's coming around the corner. I'm just gonna be sitting here and just be like, damn it. He was ailing in his blah 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 home. Like maybe there's video out there somewhere of Dick Cavett getting pissed off at somebody, but I haven't found it. I haven't seen it. And then Dick Cavett was gone. Because we don't have those guys anymore. It's not like the guys who just seem like they were genuinely interested in talking to people. Like they just seem like nice guys. The guys today don't seem like nice guys. The guys today are ambitious pricks who pretend to be nice guys. Like when the camera's not rolling, they're not nice guys. Or even when they're on the camera, they're working hard at seeming like nice guys. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is it doesn't look like it comes easy to them. These educated men of fairness. Nowadays it seems like we've got dullards of yeah, I can't think of the name. Dullards of intolerance. We have dullards of intolerance.